For me, there's 6 essential elements in a run of show. Someone needs to say hello, thank you, welcome, thanks for coming. Let's thank sponsors A, B, C, and D. You got to do that, and that's fine. Then the second element for me is what I call branding, not the heartstrings, not the heart, the mission moment yet, but just facts and figures. One of the lines I saw on Twitter the other day was facts tell and stories sell. We're not selling yet, we're telling. So let me tell you how many dogs and cats we spayed and neutered last year. Let me tell you how many new drugs we developed for blood cancer treatment. Every organization's got their facts and figures, and a lot of them are pretty eye-opening. So again, we're starting to kind of set the stage. Lots of times I recommend we break for dinner then. So we kind of set the stage, we got people's attention, we break for dinner. And then what I love to do in that 30 minutes of dinner is I love to push raffle. I love to have raffles are big money makers. Let's have our raffle sellers going table to table. Let's push our silent auction. Let's close the silent auction at the end of dinner that then leads right into the live auction. So anyway, I had one, welcome, I had branding. Live auction is my third item. I like it because it builds energy that we then channel into the fourth, which is our mission moment. The person who says, let me tell you how this organization changed my life. That was enabled by generous people who came before me. There are more people before you. There are more people like me who need their lives changed, and that's why we're here. Sixth is I think I'm getting them right. Fifth is the paddle raise itself, and sixth is thank you. So those are the essential elements. So I like to put dinner right between the branding and the live auction. So back to the question, how can we get people to start to move into fundraising mode? We can get them buying raffle opportunities. We can get them bidding in the silent auction, starting to get them shifting in towards supporting.
Towards emotion. I love that because it takes it from, there's all the different love languages that people have. Some people are rational, some people are more emotional, but as a former fundraiser, we always say that donations are very rarely driven by the logical brain. They're much more likely to be driven by your emotional one. So you've tacked on your logic, and then after the dinner, you've moved them over into the emotional brains. That works perfectly in my fundraising brain anyway.
It's exactly right. And I'll say too that one of the lines I saw, might have been Maya Angelou, said, people won't remember what you told them, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I think that's exactly what you said.
Totally. Okay. So how now I love your strategy. And by the way, we're going to be, Matt is very generously giving everybody attending and everybody watching a free copy of his book. And so we're going to give you instructions around that, but it's going to detail a lot of what Matt's saying here today. I'm going to let Matt sell this much better than I am later. But I want to know, with this kind of framework that you have created, laid out, written about, how do you coach an executive director or development director or an event planner, and even board members on what not to say from the stage at a fundraising event? I have experienced this myself, where you're just like sitting back with your head in your hands. You've got a board member or a long-winded, God forbid, keynote up there, and like no way to pull them down. So what do you say before to try and avoid these situations?
Absolutely. Well, I talk to, I'm very consultative in my approach. And so for me, it's 6-9 months a year that we're talking about this. And I tell them early on, hey, I'm going to be a voice, and I'm going to challenge a lot of different things. When someone says, well, and then this person's going to speak, then this person, I'm going to say, oh, hold on. Why? Who are they? What are they going to say? Why? For how long? Does it really help us? Or is it just that, every year the Gala chair is always spoken, and so we just figured she needs to speak again. And for me, that's not a great answer. So my first thing is let's make sure we understand who's going to speak and why and for how long and what they're going to say. And obviously the ED needs to be seen. That's part of the role. So lots of times the ED might do the branding or might do the welcome. The director of development might, do the welcome. There are roles for different people if people need to be seen and heard. But otherwise, we don't need to just have more speakers for the sake of speaking. That's going to be a common theme that you're going to hear from me this afternoon. So that's number one. Number two is when we have speakers, they've got to be coached. Everybody's got to be coached and pretty darn well scripted. There are a couple of phrases that make the hair on my neck stand up, off the cuff, off script, and wing it. Anytime a speaker says one of those, I'm getting the shepherd's crook, and I'm about to.
I picture that exactly.
There's only one time that goes well, Never.